The voice in the storm drain. On a quiet suburban street in Riverside, California, kids always crossed the road quickly when passing the old storm drain near Maple Court. It was rusted, half-collapsed, and always smelled like cold metal and wet earth even in summer. But the reason people avoided it had nothing to do with the smell. It had to do with the voice. Every night after midnight, if the street was silent enough, someone inside the drain whispered for help. One October night, Adam Clark, a 22-year-old delivery driver, heard the voice for the first time. He was parking his car after a late shift when a soft, trembling whisper drifted out from the drain. "Help, I can't get out, please." Adam froze. He crouched near the drain, shining his phone flashlight through the bars. Nothing but darkness and the faint glint of water. "Hello?" he said. "Are you stuck?" The voice sounded closer now. Desperate. "He took me. Please, don't let him come back." Adam felt a jolt of fear. "Who took you?" Silence. Then a slow dragging sound echoed deep inside the tunnel. Something moving. Something big. Adam backed away fast. His instinct screamed to leave, to go inside, to lock the door. But the voice returned, louder, more frantic. "He's coming, please, please don't leave me here." Adam's hands shook. "I'll call 911. "No," the voice hissed. "No police. He hates that." Adam swallowed hard, torn between fear and guilt. He stepped a little closer again. "Tell me where you are. Tell me how deep." A new sound rose from inside the drain. Breathing. Wet, heavy, animal-like breathing, right next to the bars. Adam's flashlight flickered. A pale hand shot up from the darkness, fingers long, thin, wrinkled like they'd been underwater for days. The hand curled around the metal bars, inches from Adam's face. The voice whispered, no longer desperate but delighted, "Found you." Adam stumbled back so fast he fell onto the pavement. The hand squeezed the bars with impossible strength. Metal groaned and bent outward as if it were aluminum foil. Something inside the drain growled, the kind of sound that didn't belong in a human throat. Adam ran. He sprinted across the lawn, threw himself inside his house, and locked the door. His heart hammered as he peered through the blinds. The street was empty, but the drain cover was now bent open. A shadow was moving inside it, crawling out. Slowly. Purposefully. At 3:14 a.m., the police received calls from neighbors reporting screams near Maple Court. When they arrived, they found Adam's car door wide open, his phone lying in the street, screen cracked. Adam was gone. The only trace was a long trail of muddy handprints leading from the storm drain to his driveway, and then disappearing back into the darkness beneath the street. Now every night after midnight, the same voice whispers from the old storm drain, "Help, I can't get out, please." But if someone bends down to listen, a second voice answers from deeper in the tunnel, a low, hungry growl, waiting for someone new to believe the first one. The man in the bathroom mirror. When Olivia Jenkins moved into her tiny apartment in Detroit, she didn't expect much. Small space, cheap rent, noisy neighbors, normal city life, except the bathroom mirror. It was old, foggy, and slightly tilted, like it had been replaced in a hurry. The first night when she stepped out of the shower and wiped the steam off, she noticed something strange. Her reflection didn't wipe at the same time. It hesitated. Just a second, barely noticeable. But it wasn't the steam. It wasn't her imagination. The next night, the delay grew longer. When Olivia smiled, her reflection smiled half a beat late. She stared at it. Her reflection stared back. Longer than she did. She stepped away. Her reflection didn't. It stood still, breathing slower than she was, chest rising and falling in a different rhythm. Olivia backed into the hallway, heart pounding. When she returned minutes later, the reflection was normal again, almost. At 2:17 a.m. a loud knock woke her. She thought it was the neighbors fighting again, until she realized the knock was coming from inside the bathroom. Knock, 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 slow, heavy. From behind the mirror. Olivia forced herself to look. The mirror was pitch black, not reflecting anything, not even the bathroom light. Then a pale face slowly pressed up against the inside of the glass. Not her face. A man, skin gray, eyes sunken, mouth twisted into a smile too wide to be human. His hand pressed against the other side of the mirror, leaving dark streaks as if he were touching dirty glass. Olivia stumbled back, whispering, "No, no." The man's lips moved. She heard his voice inside her head like someone breathing against her ear. "Switch with me." Olivia screamed and ran to her bedroom, slamming the door. She didn't sleep, didn't blink, just waited for sunrise. When she checked the mirror again in the morning, the man was gone. Her reflection was back, shaking, pale, terrified, but hers. For a few days, everything seemed normal. Until the morning she noticed something chilling. Her reflection wasn't wearing the same clothes she had on. Olivia wore a t-shirt. The reflection wore a hoodie. The same hoodie the man behind the mirror had worn. She dropped her toothbrush. No. The reflection smiled, but she didn't. She stepped back. The reflection stepped forward. Closer. Closer. Then the glass cracked from the inside, tiny fractures spreading like spiderwebs. Her reflection leaned in, whispering without sound, "Your turn." The mirror shattered outward. Olivia screamed, but no sound came out. Her body collapsed on the bathroom floor. When the landlord came to check on her after she stopped paying rent, he found the apartment empty. No Olivia. No sign of struggle. Just a bathroom mirror, perfectly clean, perfectly new, with a young woman's face frozen inside it. She wasn't moving, but her eyes followed him. The thing behind the rest stop mirror. Ethan Cole was driving through rural Pennsylvania when his phone battery died and the GPS froze. It was nearly 2 a.m. Thick fog rolled over the highway, and the only light came from an old rest stop that looked abandoned. He pulled in, desperate to use the restroom and clear his head. Inside, the fluorescent lights flickered. The air smelled like damp concrete. The place was empty. No cars outside, no workers, no sound except the buzzing lights. Ethan walked to the sink to splash water on his face. That's when he saw it. Someone was standing behind him in the mirror. A tall man, shadowy, head tilted, long arms hanging unnaturally. Ethan spun around. No one was there. He stared at the empty room, heart pounding. Slowly, he looked back into the mirror. The man was still there. Closer now. Ethan backed away. The man in the reflection didn't move with him. It stayed perfectly still, staring through the mirror like the glass was a window. The lights flickered harder. Ethan whispered, "What do you want?" The figure in the mirror tilted its head farther. like its neck was made of rope. Then its mouth opened slowly, too wide, stretching impossibly. A voice echoed from the mirror, deep and distorted. "Let me out." Ethan ran for the exit, but the automatic door wouldn't open. It was locked tight. He hit the glass, kicked it, screamed. Behind him, the mirror cracked. A long black hand pushed through the crack, fingers bending backward as they crawled out like insects. Ethan stumbled backward. The second hand broke through. Then a face, pale, eyeless, grinning. "Don't leave," it whispered. "You came to see me." The lights exploded. Darkness swallowed the entire restroom. Ethan felt something grab his ankle. He screamed. The next morning, Highway Patrol found Ethan's abandoned car with the door open and the engine running. They searched the rest stop. The building was empty. The only clue was inside the restroom, a single fresh handprint on the mirror from the inside. And whenever someone walks in alone at night, the mirror fogs over by itself, revealing a message written with a shaking finger. "Let me out." The man in the back row. The Regal Crest Cinema in Phoenix was almost empty on weeknights, and that's exactly why Olivia liked going there alone after work. Quiet, dark, no distractions, her escape. One Thursday night, she bought a ticket for the late showing of a thriller. The theater was completely empty. Perfect. She chose her favorite seat, middle row, right side. But halfway through the previews, she noticed something strange. A man was sitting in the very back row. She hadn't seen him enter. He sat perfectly still, hands on his knees, head slightly tilted down like he was staring at the floor. The shadows hid his face completely. Olivia tried to ignore it, but every few minutes she felt his eyes on her. When she finally glanced back, the man didn't move, but his head was now slightly tilted to the other side. She frowned. The movie started. She forced herself to focus on the screen. Half an hour passed. Then Olivia heard something. A soft, slow dragging sound, like fabric sliding across old carpet. She turned. The man was no longer in the back row. He was now sitting 3 rows behind her. Same posture, same tilted head. Still staring at the floor. Olivia's heart hammered. She stood up quickly and moved to the front row. She pulled out her phone. No service inside the thick-walled theater. When she looked back again, the man was gone. Completely. Olivia didn't breathe. She didn't blink. She scanned every row. Then something whispered directly behind her ear. "Don't sit alone." She spun around. The back row man was sitting right behind her seat, so close his knees almost touched her back. His face was inches from hers now. If he had a face, there was nothing there. Just smooth, pale skin. No eyes, no nose, no mouth. Yet the voice whispered again, louder. "I saved you a seat." Olivia ran, tripping over the steps, sprinting out into the hallway. She rushed to the front desk. "There's someone in Theater 6, she gasped. He doesn't have a face." The teenage employee looked confused. "Ma'am, Theater 6 is closed tonight." "No, I was just inside." He grabbed a master key, screen glowing on his phone as a flashlight. They went to the door. The employee unlocked it. The room was dark, empty, no movie playing, no sound. Seats covered with plastic sheets, screen torn and dusty. A giant notice hung on the wall. Theater closed for renovation. Since last year, Olivia stumbled backward. If I wasn't watching a movie, and what was I watching? The employee didn't answer, because someone was now sitting in the far back row, perfectly still, head tilted, staring down at the floor. The flashlight flickered, and every seat in the theater filled at once. Dozens of faceless people sitting silently, all with their heads tilted toward Olivia. The whispering returned from every seat. Sit with us. The next day, the theater manager opened the renovation room to check a complaint. There was no sign of Olivia. Only one new thing: a single seat in the back row no longer covered in plastic, still warm as if someone had just been sitting there.